looking back, what do you think are the biggest changes you've made as a coach in this last year?
In the last year?
Like, do you think that you made some big changes? I know definitely for sure in the last 5 years, for sure. But like, do you feel like you've made some big changes this last year to your systems, to your approach, to your?
I think in terms of my systems and my approach, I am much more focused on the emotional and mental side of my clients. It's not so much about, ooh, can I figure out the science behind this disease or this particular driver, or this domino or whatever. I still believe in the domino principle, 100%.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm much less focused on the science and getting the edge in terms of technical ability. I am more so concerned with managing personalities and increasing trust and retention and emotional availability and connection and things like that. Because that's how you get humans to open up and do what you tell them to do. Right.
Exactly.
Or that's coaching. So it doesn't matter how much science you have. Even if you know how to fix it, if you can't get them to trust you and stick with you, it's pointless. So then you get frustrated, then you get resentful. You're like, oh, like I'm such a good coach. I know so much. I have so much certifications. I've invested so much, but you can't lead people, and that's where I think a lot of coaches get resentful of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you combine resentment with a big ego, that's when you see a lot of like striking out and things like that. Just frustration, right? And then that leads me to my second change is like I feel like every year I get older, my ego like dwindles. Like just a little bit more. Like when I was in my 20s, my ego was like this. And now it's like this. It's still pretty big, but it's a lot more it's easier to tame. And that's been reflected, I think, in my social media personality as well. So I would say those two changes.
Yeah, well, I think you've become more wise, and if you've learned from your mistakes, and you kind of know that before you probably had like maybe like you thought there was only maybe one way, is it had to be a certain way, and if it wasn't that way, then then screw them. But now I think you understand that you have to cater to so many different personalities and psychology of clients, for them to have buy-in and for them to even adhere to whatever program that you're wanting them to do. So it doesn't matter that you have this perfect protocol that that if they did it, but yeah, that there's so much, it goes so much deeper than that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
I just feel like before I was so driven to like be the best, but the best is such a like a subjective, you know, uh, assertion, or I don't know if that's even a word, a subjective like label uh,
mm-hmm.
to put on yourself, because it's ultimately not a label you can put on yourself. You can't put a sticker on yourself and say I'm the best, right? That's a label that individuals have to bless you with, and depending on
Yeah,
who gives it to you, it depends on their perception of what is the best. And so that's what quieted my ego a lot more, because what I think serves me isn't what serves others, and therefore doesn't lend me that title of being quote unquote the best, if that
mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that I learned, but it's made me a lot happier. So it's good.